So, Liz Michael, you all good?
Very good, thank you.
Very good.
So let's continue where we left off from last week, okay? And actually, before I do, I actually want to say, Michael, one of our subscribers actually messaged and said, I'm Team Michael. I'm 100% Team Michael.
Hey.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
I was just a bitch back, and I said, get the fuck off my show. Now,
No, you did not.
really, of course I did.
Bad, not.
Of course, you can't, we are not biased here. And yes, so what is Team Michael? What did Michael bring to the table last week? Well, you can watch that episode back. I'll put it in the description. But basically, we're covering Terrence Howard's discovery on his understanding of the universe. And he leads in with a question that does 1 times 1 equal 1? He breaks it down a certain way to explain that in the natural world, the world that we currently live in, we have systems in place that help us to communicate, such as language, and we have things to explain things such as science, physics, and we have mathematics to measure. That's the principle of why we have those things in place. However, he believes that the fundamental 1 times 1 equaling 1 is actually wrong because it doesn't actually measure some of our natural phenomena, reality. And the reason why I tap my cup is because if I have 1 cup and another cup here, which is 2 of the same cup, there is 2. So 1 times 1 equals 2. However, Michael has said something very important, and that is because of the 1 times, Jules, you will have 1 times of something. Therefore, if you had another thing, you would have 2 times of something. So therefore, it isn't 1 times 1, you just have 2 times. Now, why am I speeding up speaking like this really quickly? Because I believe that for the time frame that happened from that last episode to this episode, and I've been thinking about this for a while, I've come to the realization that Michael is actually correct. 1 times 1 does equal 1, but Terrence Howard is also correct that 1 times 1 equals 2. But what we are taught in school is that 1 times 1 is the only answer. There is no 1 times 2 equals 2. However, the truth of the matter is they are both correct. 1 times 1 equals 1 and 1 times 1 equals 2. But if we were taught that they both are correct, we would have a different perception of the world. And therefore, we will be seeing it very differently rather than limited. That then leads me on to tonight. Sorry, I just literally hogged the mic there for a while. But Liz Michael, when you spoke before about last week's episode, how did you process that? Just be honest.
It just opened my mind to a different format of working it out, but also it reminded me of when I was at school and I saw it, some part of my brain that worked out maths was seeing it the way that he explained it. And obviously I was told that that was wrong and I was taught the other way. So now you're saying that both ways are correct. So that kind of explains how some people would see both ways, or some people might see one way and some people might see the other. So yeah, it just opened up to that, really. And I came away, because of how you two were at the end, I came away a little bit confused. I was like, well, which is it? Because I understand what Mike was saying, but I also understand what Jules is saying. So then I was left baffled. I was like, hopefully next week I'll get the answer. It was like a episode of like a drama on the TV, and it was like cut just at the end, and it's like, who done it?
Hang on. When you're still in the firm belief that it is only 1 times 1 equals 1, there is no other answer.
Yeah, I believe it that much. I think in the whole, how long we've been doing this, ETC?
ETC, it's our 4th year. So we've been doing it for...
Michael's been doing it, what, 2 years, 3 years?
I think Michael joined us midway through the 1st year.
Yeah, so maybe 3 years. So 3 years of episodes, and it's probably the first ever episode I am kind of not happy about, and I'd rather that one wasn't aired.
Why?
Because we're elite thinkers. We should not be going down saying what this is. Like, so to answer what you said first, Liz, your teachers were wrong in telling you shouldn't think like that, because you should always question stuff. They should have answered you in a constructive way. They should never just say you're wrong.
Yes.
They should do it in a constructive way. But this is a wrong way of thinking, and it doesn't help. So I have thought of an example. Yeah. So let's say you work for me with 19 of your friends.
Yeah.
And you did a good job. So I give you all £2 each.
Yes.
Yeah. So instead of walking along the line going, right, £2, £4, £6. So to work out the whole number, you do, right, there's 20 of us, we all got £2 each. That's £40 total.
Right.
Is it 20 times 2? Agree?
Yes.
Right. So you come back the next day, you do an even better job. So I'll give you £4 each. So that is £80 in total.
Okay.
Okay. So, but then the third day you come, you do a rubbish job, I give everyone 0. So that's 20 times 0, which is 0.
Yes.
Yeah. Which is the exactly same with the 1 times 1. So there's one person and I give them £1, that person has got £1.
Yes. That person has got £1. But if you gave them another pound, how many pounds would they have, Michael?
But that would be one person times 2, so that's £2.
It's precisely. So £1 times £1 is what? £2. The person has.
You're adding it. You're not times it.
All right. So this is why I'm not against you. I actually agree with you. Like I said before, I actually agree with you. 1 times 1 does equal 1. However, it also equals 2. When we've said this in the previous episode, when you are so indoctrined to think that this is the only way, you will come against resistance. And it's okay to voice this, because that's why we are critical thinkers, elite thinkers. Because in a system where people have been taught for thousands of years that this is the only way to see it, therefore they will always go back to what they need to justify in their mind as reality and as of truth. That can't be right, because I've always known this as real. For example, the Gregorian calendar, that is a baffling calendar. Some days have 31, some days have 30. February is 28 days, and there's only 29 every 4 years. That is so bizarre when we know there is alternative calendars that have precisely 13 months in the year, exactly 4 weeks in a month. Yet the whole world is going off this Gregorian calendar for what? Because they have been indoctrinated and trained to only see that. So therefore, when I just proposed a new calendar, well, not the new calendar, this has always been proposed, people will always have resistance to it. And it's okay to do that. So anyway, I did think about it for a while.
I prefer the other calendar, to be fair.
Michael, you're not alone. That girl, she messaged. She was like, yo, I'm team Michael. You're bizarre, Jules. You're crazy. I said, you know what? Fine. I'm not expecting you to just be my friend here or follow me all the time. It's absolutely fine. We are a trio. And that's why we are the way we are. If we were all the same, it would never get things done. But one thing we must understand is potentially that if enough people believe the same thing, what we are manifesting is a world of limited belief, limited vision. And that is what brings me on to what Terrence Howard then goes on to. Because remember last episode when I said, if we can't get our heads around thinking this way, we're not going to be ready for the next thing. And the next thing is
more stuff.
Yes. So
yeah.
If we use mathematics to measure the natural phenomena of the world we live in and science to explain it, one thing that is very important to note is that there are no straight lines in nature. Do you agree?
Yes.
Yeah.
Happy days. However, when we try to draw things on paper, we use what is known as the Platonic solids, which is squares, circles, triangles, cubes, pyramids, spheres. Do you agree?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, again, they use triangles.
Yes, exactly. However, this is not an actual identical replication of the real world we live in, because there are no straight lines in nature. So therefore, when we're using Platonic solids, which are very, very accurate lines, drawings, circles, squares, perfect shapes, and we're trying to replicate that on paper or try to use that to explain to people of the natural world we live in, it's two completely different things. It's similar, it's close, but it's not exact. And that's why I don't disagree with you, Michael, because we need 1 times 1 to equal 1 so that we can actually use these Platonic shapes to draw up what we need as like blueprints for buildings or whatever. However, in the natural world, 1 times 1 equals 2. And those Platonic shapes should not be perfect. They should have some sort of curve in the right or wrong. Otherwise, if I was to draw a picture of you using 1 times 1 equals 1, Michael, I would only be able to draw stick men. Because you're not a stick man and you are a complex being, with no straight lines, I don't use platonic shapes and straight lines and geometric patterns and that. That's not you. It's not real. So in schooling systems, we should be teaching 1 times 1 does equal 1, but also have the mind to understand that 1 times 1 also equals 2 because of the natural world you live in. And that's what I believe Terrence Howard's argument is, because the fundamental of this is right and this is wrong has a ripple effect onto every other way we think about everything else, and therefore limits our understanding of our universe.
And our
yes, Liz, which actually then brings me on to, do you have anything to say about that, by the way, before I continue?
No.
Yeah, well, in maths, 1 times 1 will always equal 1.
You two.
Using it for other stuff, this may be different, but in maths, 1 times 1 is always 1.
And that's it.
Because that is the basis for every other multiplication.
Yes.
This is the first time in my life I feel like a referee.
You don't have to feel like that. I've already stated I agree with Michael. I'm not against him. I'm in understanding that 1 times 1 equals 2 because I do understand it.
Yeah.
But the schooling system will not teach it because it does debunk or doesn't debunk. It just confuses everybody into believing, but it can't be 2.
Highlights a different way of looking at something.
Yes. And Maria, in answer to your question, yes, I 100% am. She asked me if I was pirate. Yes, I am. Yo. Right. Okay. Now, why does this then take us on to a next way of thinking? And it's simply because what Terrence Howard goes on to explain is how he has an understanding of the light spectrum and how he believes that light is actually alive. He believes that light is living. So, Liz, Michael, do you think light is living? Viewers, do you think light is living? Do you believe it's alive?
Well, as in light in your house or like sunlight? Because obviously the sunlight is, I guess, I don't know. That's a really strange question.
And I don't want you to try and go into your archives to try and remember what you've been taught to think. I want you to think, do you think light is alive?
Simple answer, no.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to say no. I don't think it's alive. I don't think it's alive.
Don't think it's alive. That's absolutely fine because you don't have to. But I do believe it is alive. So we know that we can only witness with our abilities of our bodies white light.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the color spectrum of the rainbow. Yeah. That is the only way we can see it here in this world. But you must also appreciate that when light enters this world, what it actually does is lets us see solids, liquids, gas, lets us see the world around us. Now, what if I said to you, a philosopher from way back in the day, Pythagoras actually said that a rock is a compression of solid music. What does that make you think?
A rock is, just repeat that.
A rock is a compression of solid music.
As in solid noise.
Solid sound, yeah. Solid noise, yeah.
I don't really get the statement.
I don't.
It's okay because back then it's pretty broad. It was pretty broad. It's like, I think he knew what he meant, but he couldn't really explain it the way he wanted to explain it. In essence, what he was saying is the universe is made up of a lot of particles, right? These particles will act as waves when not observed and as particles when observed. You know this. We know this. We've done this. You agree?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So these atoms that are vibrating at speeds beyond us, we can't even fathom how fast these are going. They're coming in what form? How do we observe these atoms? Light. We have to have light to see. Now, this solids, liquids, and gas that we see are forms of atoms, but under what? Certain conditions. You know and I know that when we are really, really cold, you and I, we will freeze. Our body changes. When we're really, really warm, it changes. And the only way we can observe that is with the light. So light is, in essence, under the same, like if we took, for example, what light lets us see as liquids, water, under certain conditions, if it's too hot, steam, if it's too cold, ice. Like this is what light is. It is alive because it knows under certain conditions, just like you and I, it changes. Now, for anyone to say, but that's not light, that's water, that's hydrogen and oxygen. Okay, so how would you know? How would you see that? What gives hydrogen and oxygen the life to change?
Other components.
What other components?
Well, they change under different temperatures.
Yes, different conditions. Yes, keep going. Keep going. Keep ticking. I love it.
The reason why we see stuff and see different colors is because when the light bounces against it, it's the only one that the light doesn't, that the object doesn't bounce back. So that's why we see different things in different colors. So when the light comes down, hits something, it's literally the only light spectrum that doesn't bounce back.
Light.
So that's why something will look. Yeah, that's how we see stuff. Because
light
bounces off and stuff.
Yeah, light bounces off of stuff.
Yeah. So and then the one spectrum that it doesn't bounce back is the one that we see it as.
Okay. So how would you describe a mirror? When a mirror, like when you see a reflection of a mirror?
In what respect? What do you mean?
What Michael just said, if light hits something, it doesn't bounce back. That's why we see it. But it does. And not only does it bounce back, it bounces back multiplied. When light, like a light source, a candle, for example, if this pen was a candle and we had a mirror next to it, you could measure the amount of light coming off of the candle, which is the source, which is 1. When it hits a mirror, it bounces back and it actually multiplies the light. It amplifies more.
Right.
Which then brings us into the fundamental question, 1 times 1 cannot equal 1 in the natural world, because if 1 is the candle, which emits the source of energy, hitting the mirror and bounces off to make more, it's not 1 times 1 equals 1. It's 1 hit the mirror times 1, it makes more, minimum 2. But why is that even important? But that's because that's where he leads on to with the 1 times 1 equals 1. It cannot, because in the natural world, even with light, which is light, 1 times 1 equals more. Okay. This then, using light as an example, is it alive? I would ask you the same question. Do you believe that sound is alive? Music is alive?
It makes me feel alive.
Good.
Is music alive? Well, music is created. So are we talking about sound? Are you saying sound is alive?
Sound, yes.
Okay, sound. Okay.
How do you observe sound?
Vibrations for your ear canals.
Yeah.
Wave. You're actually wave for your ears. That's how you are hearing sound, yes?
Yeah.
Okay. But what if sound was under different conditions? Same way with light. Or not light, matter.
Like in a chamber.
Yes.
And it bounces around.
Yes.
Good. But sound is just the byproduct of doing something.
Okay. Now, the reason I'm asking this is because we've covered law, we're covering sound, and we are obviously understanding what we are existing in this universe, witnessing. Pythagoras said a rock is a compression of solid music. I believe what he meant was that under different conditions and different situations, different conditions, everything, like Einstein said, everything is relative. So waveform of light, waveform of music, when in this realm, it presents itself as different things. We are all our own unique music sound. Even though we're similar, we are all our own music sound. When light hits this rock or hits another rock, what this is a compression of all of that. Are you following me, or am I just losing you completely?
No, but I'm hearing what you're saying. I'm trying to contemplate it as alive. That's all.
Is light alive?
Yeah.
As in a living, what you know as alive is living, breathing being, right? Like a plant, like an animal, like a human. Yes.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to, I suppose, present is don't see it like that. That's a very like limited way of seeing it, because you know and I know we can only see light with our eyes as white light. But you do know that beyond that, there is light you cannot see.
Yeah.
Yeah. The UV, the ultraviolet, the infrared, you know there's more. So just because we can only think of alive as a living, breathing being like a human or a plant, I'm trying to explain it like, no, this thing is alive, but it's beyond us. We're only seeing a small snippet of it alive, if that makes sense.
There's like a whole spectrum.
Yeah, this thing is huge. This thing is alive.
Okay, I get. Yeah.
Can we fathom that?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm getting.
Now, in this realm we exist in, we witness it under certain conditions. Now, where Terrence Howard challenges the notion, which isn't about, by the way, I'm right, you're wrong. It's not like that. This isn't what we're doing here.
Thinking.
Yeah, what we're trying to do is expand our consciousness and awareness of thinking so that we can grasp a better understanding of our actual universe. We've already covered that perhaps, and I'm saying perhaps, our mathematical our fundamental rule of math could be wrong to explain the universe. It could be flawed simply because of XYZ proposals.
Yeah.
We also understand that these platonic solids, these ways that we design and draw, and it doesn't replicate our actual natural world because there are no straight lines in nature. But why is all of this important? Because when we take a look at the wave, light, sound, what we measure these sound wave in, for example, is hertz. Yes.
Uh-huh.
Now, what do you think? What do you think the fastest thing in the world is?
And are we talking? Well, fastest thing in the world, isn't that an animal?
Okay, what do you know the fastest thing to be?
Speed of light.
Yeah.
It's light. Okay. That's not a bad answer, to be honest, because perhaps you've been taught this.
Okay.
And there have been experiments or someone to present it and be like, well, I've measured it using math, using all this, this is what it is. However, if I was to say to you that the fastest thing is the speed of thoughts.
At the speed of thought is 67 miles per hour.
No, okay, you may be potentially measuring the synapses and the neurons of the brain. Is that what you're saying, Michael?
Yeah.
Yeah. But what I'm talking about is the speed the thought emits at wave form. So don't worry about what goes on inside the head. I'm talking about what's going on outside, the things you can't see. Because you know, and I know that you can measure human thoughts with hertz, the EEG, the brainwave frequency.
Yeah.
We can measure human thoughts. We emit thoughts. But where do those thoughts go? Outwardly, right? They go outwardly. So I know that you've been taught that, or you said it's like light is the fastest thing, but I'm telling you thoughts are the fastest thing, and they are going through this wave. Now, the challenge, or not the challenge, just the thing to expand upon it is most things that we understand here are with a very limited understanding, because we can't keep patting ourselves on the back thinking we're the most evolved, fucking smartest, fucking we can explain this, and this, and this, when we know for a fact, perhaps, we've fundamentally got it wrong.
I think there's lots of things we've got it wrong on. I think there's lots of things we don't know about. I think there's lots of things we haven't discovered. I think there's lots of things that still need exploring. So I don't think we could ever say we've got it right on this, we've got it right on that. And going back to what you said, Michael, about teachers saying you're wrong. No, we should actually be taught in school different ways of thinking.
Thank you. Okay. So when we think about space, now this is also a new thought. When you think about space, most are under the impression that space is a vacuum. Now, if space is a vacuum, that is then to say that nothing can travel in a vacuum, like sound. Sound does not travel in a vacuum because we have replicated it here on Earth. Now, if we were to believe that that same principle is applied out there, and when I say out there, where does it even begin? you know, I mean, like, yes, we have an atmosphere, but let's get it right. Like, where's the sky? If I was to ask you, where's the sky? Everyone will point up. And if I asked, where does it begin? No one knows where it begins because it is always here. So we're always in this. Anyway, this vacuum, if they say that sound cannot travel, therefore wave of sound, hertz, cannot travel, the idea is to think that thoughts do not travel. Your thoughts are only contained in this earth. Do you believe that to be true?
Well, in my head on this earth, yeah.
Okay. So these EEGs measurements, frequencies that you emit from your thoughts with your head, they just stay in your head.
To me, they do. Yeah.
Oh,
Christ, I hope they do, because some thoughts would get me in a lot of trouble.
I'm going to post something to you, Liz, and you don't have to freak. Please don't freak. I know that you're capable of knowing this, and I know, Michael, you are as well. I know we all are understanding this because it's new. That's it. And it's not even really that new. I suppose we're just doing this because we are bringing it to the consciousness and the awareness. When you think, you are emitting energy outwardly. You are emitting thoughts or frequency of wave outwardly, measured in hertz, the same way we measure music. This thought is like dropping a stone in a water, and it creates ripple. What that does is it waits to hit something there. And when it hits the opposite thing, it starts to ripple back. Yes? Mm-hmm. Now, the reason why this is so important for us to understand the universe we live in, and by the way, I just want to say, I'm not a flipping scientist who's done these experiments. This is just things that I've discovered from Terrence Howard, who is the man who's done 40 years of trying to understand all this stuff. And it's always science. So it can always be, rightly or wrongly posed. What he is saying is we emit our thoughts out into the universe. The universe isn't just an empty void of vacuum. Everything already exists there. All it does is waits for the thought to hit it. When the thought hits it out there in that vacuum of things we can't see because we only see white light, the light, which is the living thing out there, channels the thing here. So someone somewhere would have had to originally think of a rock. Someone somewhere would have had to originally think of a cup. Someone somewhere would have had to originally think of this jumper that I wear right now, this microphone I'm speaking to right now. Every single thing that is existence, someone somewhere thought of. They sent the frequency outwardly. Whatever it is out there that hears it in the ether, in the vacuum, it channels the reality back to this realm. Using what? Let's imagine that you're growing as a human being and you're hungry. You need food. You're thinking about food. I would like to eat, please. I need this, I need that to survive, please. You send out the signal, comes the sunlight, produces food from the earth. Just grows, does it? Feeds us. We live it. We need it. We consume it. Now, let's imagine that you need something like shelter. You'd have to make shelter. You have to produce this thing. You have to create something. We think it happens. Collective consciousness is very powerful, and this is why it's so powerful, because if we take what I've just said and really deep it, if the collective consciousness has the fundamentals wrong from the start, our growth is limited to only create a world that cannot actually grow. If I always taught you that dragons are science fiction, get enough people believe in it, in their deep-seated core conviction, they will not exist. They're dead now. Because no one believes it to be true. Yet all of these paintings and writings on the wall, once upon a time, they were. Now, let's take that same principle and now we apply it to someone else who had a thought. Bill Gates and his mates. We're going to make these things, these computers. Steve Jobs, I'm going to make these things that can't be seen. The Wright brothers, we're going to make a plane. What's a plane? I don't, it's a flight. We're going to make people fly. What? Back then, this is what people will be like, what the fuck? What are you talking about? You're crazy. I've never seen something like that before. Yeah, but I can see it in here. Right. How do I get what's here? These thoughts that are beaming out there, by the way, they're going out there. They're getting sent to something. And when it hits that something, because all things are already created out there, just someone has to think of it. When they get the thought, it comes beaming back, and magically, through some sort of magic, all of the resources, all of the people in place, everything gets put into place for the creation to be created. I believe, God.
So this is this sounds very much like Sims. So when you're playing a game of Sims and they think I'm hungry, and then some being goes, okay, go get some food.
If you want to call it a simulation, Michael, you absolutely can. A lot of people think that anyway. So yeah, there is a creator or an overseer. Yeah, go on.
No, that's what it sounds like. But when somebody wants to make a plane or you want to make a microphone,
yes,
you think, I want to make this item that we don't have already.
Yes.
And then you go get the tools and then you go do it.
Yes.
But what I'm saying is there's not something above that's going, oh, okay, you want to make this? Here, here's some stuff.
What do you believe light is, Michael? What is your understanding of light?
A proton from the sun.
Okay. What is the sun?
Well, there's natural light and there's man-made light, isn't there?
Yeah, but initially it's a protein that... Now, let me get the right word.
A proton, did you say? What I'm suggesting, while Michael does his research, is that the words that we use to explain things is fine. That's language. You've already established that. The systems that we use are the terms we use, which is physics and science, to explain things. That's what we use there. And mathematics to measure things. But what we are discovering, or what we are now looking into, is perhaps this thing that we are calling certain things, or our understanding of this thing, it shouldn't be so limited into only thinking of it as a sun that gives protons or atoms of light. You know, we understand this thing is alive. And I know it sounds out there, and that's because it's going to sound crazy. Everyone was crazy once upon a time. When someone said, I'm going to make that building, it's going to be 10 stories tall, to everyone else still living in mud huts. What? I'm going to make that. You're crazy, man. You're talking crazy. That doesn't make sense. People thought Jesus was crazy. They crucified him in biblical sense. I know this sounds out there, and you may be the first time we've heard this, but please don't make me feel like I'm crazy because I'm wrong.
No, I don't think you're crazy.
Cool.
At all. I think that you're just opening up to something and explaining something that you have been learning via this guy. I don't think you're crazy at all. You're just, it's another way of looking at it.
Yes.
I never even thought for a second in my life, is light alive? You have just presented that to me. So you have now put that thought in my brain and planted that seed in my brain. So, and the same with music. To me, music's created. It's not like sound isn't alive, but you know.
What it is it's all the same thing, just under different conditions.
Right.
That's what we need to wrap our heads around. We are having this experience, but we're thinking everything is separate, but it's not. It's not separate. It's just everything under different conditions. Yes.
Okay.
But these conditions, obviously, we are measuring. We're using science to explain measuring wave, which is hertz, which is fine to understand. This is the tools we use to explain. We're trying to measure it with what? Maths. We are trying to measure it with maths. This many hertz, that many hertz, this many decibels, that many decibels, this many whatever. Like that's how we measure it. But what Terrence Howard is saying is, I understand this all. I'm not against this. But what I'm trying to propose is perhaps we've got the fundamentals wrong at the start, because we are trying to use these things to explain our natural phenomena which we exist in. And all the while, all of the principles and the basics that we have, these are primitive. This is primitive. I understand the platonic solids, the cube, the sphere, the triangle, but where do I exist in this world where that's a reality? No straight lines in nature. And then he goes on to these thoughts, and then he goes on to sound. He goes on, I'll put the downloadable PDF in the description of this episode, same way I did last episode. I totally understand that it may be new to some people, but I definitely urge you to check this out. Terrence Howard definitely has proposed something that will help expand the consciousness of all. Because once you get your head around it, perhaps if we have been taught this limited way of seeing, limited way of understanding the natural world that we live in, that's why I believe so many people are stuck. They're stuck because they don't have the capacity, or they haven't broken through the linear thinking of the schooling system that's taught them those things.
I think it dumbs us down, the school indoctrination. I think conditioning dumbs us down because we get into we're all taught one way of thinking, right? The curriculum that way. So I think that dumbs our brains down because I think our brains have so much potential to explore and think and find. And so I think when we kind of just almost limit it, I think we never really fully use it properly. Well, I don't.
It just stunts the growth.
Yeah.
If you believe that you've reached a certain point where there's nowhere to go after that, you're reaching a ceiling, then, you won't go nowhere else. But the truth of the matter is there is no ceiling.
Yeah. Yeah.
Most people will not question.
No.
And the way that the brain works as well is that it's very good at being biased. It will cherry pick information to justify why it thinks the way it thinks.
That's the power of indoctrination, though.
Yes. I don't drink cow's milk, but never once have I walked through a field, got a bit thirsty and thought, yep, I'm going to go and suck that cow's udder. That doesn't happen in the natural world. No one does that. Yet you stick it in a carton and tell everybody, yeah, put that on your cereal, and people do it, and it's just baffled. It's what? What? However, that's a whole other conversation. We don't even have to have that conversation. But the point of the matter is that we are the Elite Thinking Club, and thank you so much for watching us thus far. Thank you for checking us out. We've been going for 4 years. If you're liking what you're seeing, liking what you're hearing, it's giving you that space to critical think, then please hit the like button, hit the follow, and we will love you forever. We're currently trying to build to 1,000 subscribers on the YouTube. So we'll be very grateful if you join us there, become a member, and also message us as well. It's okay to disagree. Like that girl that messaged her, like, Team Michael, I'm all for it. You know what I mean? Happy days. Support me. Yeah, it's made his day. And I had to share. I had to share. It's good. Really good. But yeah, I absolutely blocked her. Told her to go do one. I don't have to come. Well, I'm joking. I didn't actually laugh for it. I did stand there. I told I'll let him know. I'll do it live on the show. I'm very grateful. Good. So yes, I think like we're not trying to say everything is wrong. That is not true. I believe that we have evolved. We're reaching a whole new level of evolution. Our consciousness, our awareness, our understandings of things, we are breaking through certain limitations, certain limited beliefs. As a collective, we are really starting to push through. And when someone like me or you or Michael or anyone hears this new concept, and I'm not taking credit for this, this is Terrence Howard. Like, I discovered it found me, and it's like, fuck yeah, now look at this. I'll put the link in the description. Check it out. It's okay to enter a mind of that can't be right. That's not what I've been taught. That's absolutely fine. That's how it always is, because that's how we've always been taught. But when someone presents it in a way that kind of gets you going, kind of gets you thinking, perhaps, that's when the limiting beliefs, the things that have been holding us back, gone, completely gone. And then we can go into a whole new level of awareness and a whole new level of consciousness that, expand us to the point where we're no longer limiting ourselves. We're growing with it. It's a thing.
Yeah, I think it's your mind open to different ways of things, different meanings of things. I think the like one way is the only way. That is so limiting. Whereas you do expand your mind by looking into different things and seeing things from different perspectives, not just one. And I don't think that one way is necessarily the right way, the complete one and truly way, you know?
Linear thinking, right and wrong, this or that, has to be this. What it does is it creates two types of mindset. The first mindset is if you are okay with 1 times 1 equals 1 and 1 times 1 equals 2, you're flexible.
Yeah.
But it should be in the natural world. Nothing
Yeah.
is certain, nothing is promised, nothing is straight lines, nothing is, do you know what I mean? It's flexible. You're a flexible person. But if you also, sorry, I just got verified TikTok. There we go. If you also, flexible people, you're flexible. But if you are so socially conditioned to see linear lines, linear scales, this is what time does. This is this is that, this is this is that. It's very, very rigid. What? Not rigid. And that's when people get posed new ways of thinking. It challenges that rigidness. It challenges that linear. Time isn't real. What? You're fucking crazy. Time isn't real. What? You're young and then you're old. Wait, what makes you think that? Because everyone does it. And it's like, so you believe in the linear. Okay. So if I was to say to you that your memories are the old you, no, they're the young me, which is what though? You are the youngest you have ever been right now. This is all brand new, is it not? Every single second, every single new moment of existence is new. But you're thinking that the rigidness that you're telling me is that you're the oldest you've ever been. That's false. It can't be. So think of it that way, because that's flexible. I can see it this way and I can see it that way. But if anybody cannot, they are rigid in their thinking. Do you get what I mean? And it's hard. It's hard because sometimes you can't help someone see what you can see. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
You write, I write, left to right. The left side of the page to the right side of the page, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Because we're doing what?
Thought that.
Taught that way. But nothing's stopping us from writing right to left.
Well, when you write like right to left, you're supposed to be.
You'd like to think so. But there are cultures out there that do.
Yeah, and they have to write differently in order to not smudgy while they're doing it.
But either way, back to the point, it's not right or wrong. It is just done differently. And if you're flexible, like everyone should be, happy days. But if you're rigid, like, no, that's wrong. They're doing that wrong. Please stop saying that word. They're not doing it wrong. It's no right nor wrong. Be flexible. It's cool. Why is it so hard for you to just read from right to left? Because everybody knows you write left to right. Okay, cool. Do you know what I mean? Cool.
Yeah.
So
it really matters which way the writing is, does it?
No, as long as you can understand it.
Yeah. Exactly. Liz, Michael, I love you guys. You know that. Thank you so much for being here with me tonight, helping me to explore this. Viewers watching on the TikTok, the Twitch, or the YouTube, thank you so much for joining us as well. Love you guys so much. I want to say, Liz, Michael, is there anything else you want to add to tonight's episode? Because I'm actually going to close this part before we do the next one.
No, I think I need to check this book out.
Yeah, definitely. I'll put the PDF link in the description for everybody that wants to see this. It's powerful. Download it. I've saved it to my laptop because I just want to keep it, pass it down to my children. Who knows? This episode, you know, when we're in 30 or 40 years' time, some young person somewhere will just ponder upon it, witness it, see it, and they'll be like that. I always knew that. And who knows? We may not be the change. We may not be the ones that make the change, but some younger generation somewhere will ponder upon it, just like someone discovered Tesla or someone discovered Einstein, and that sparked in them the spark that was needed to ignite the flame for the change. Do you get what I mean?
Yes.
Perfect. All right. So, well, thank you everyone for joining us here on this frequency. From me, Liz and Michael, everyone everywhere, peace and love. Happy veins. Okay, so as always, at the end of every episode, what we do is what's special about today. Yay! So today is the 25th of March, 2024, and something special about today is it's actual International Waffle Day.
Always mention something naughty to eat, and then it makes me hungry, and then when I finish the episode, I go and eat less, and it's always Jules's fault.
Yeah, you can blame me, Liz, if you need someone to blame.
I will blame you.
So yeah, International Waffle Day. It actually originated in Sweden, but now it's kind of like, you know, universally adopted. It's a bit like Pancake Day,
Yeah.
but Sweden. It's also the US Medal of Honor Day today.
Aww.
Yeah, celebrate all of the, I suppose, the congratulated veterans or soldiers that, you know, acts of valor in their service. So they actually get awarded that by the president. I think it's quite interesting. Like Medal of Honor. It's also Tolkien Reading Day. You know J.R.R. Tolkien?
Yeah, as rings.
Yes, Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit. Yes. And I didn't even know he had a day, to be honest. It's quite cool. Did you like Lord of the Rings? Do you like Hobbit?
I did. I like. Yeah, I remember reading it when I was a kid and watching the films. The films were really long, weren't they?
Have you seen the extended editions?
No.
Oh yeah, I love those.
Okay.
I'm a bit of a geek. I'm a bit of a nerd when it comes to Lord of the Rings, Hobbit, and that. I love it. Haven't read the book though, and it's not his only book. Apparently, he's wrote loads of books. Loads. There's even a film about him on I think it's Amazon. It was called Tolkien. Made his own language before the book. So he made his own language. Then he thought, I made my own language. Now I'm going to make a book about it. So amazing. Michael, do you like Lord of the Rings?
No, I've never seen it. I've probably seen enough from other people watching it to know what it's about. But yeah, no, I've never seen it.
Yeah, no dramas. Pretty cool. And it's
Too long.
It is long. It is long. I'll do a whole marathon on that. I'll watch The Hobbit all the way through, and I'll watch Lord of the Rings all the way through.
Yeah, she keeps trying to get me to do it. Don't worry.
Fair enough.
People against it.
Yeah. It's also, and I hope I pronounced this correctly, Dol Jatra. So Dol Jatra is like a religious holiday for Hindus. They celebrate the last full moon, and it's celebrate of the month. The last full moon of the Hindu calendar, and it celebrates the Lord Krishna's love for Radha. I think that's how you pronounce it, Radha. And what do? Well, basically, they get all this color powdered paint, and they just celebrate with colored powdered paint. So you may know this celebration, like people covered in paint, like in the streets.
A friend of mine is actually in India at the moment, and they sent pictures through.
Yes.
Them all all on the beach, and they're all covered in like different coloured paint and
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yes, it's like the Guyanese people do it as well. I think they call it Holy Guyana. But yeah, it's a big celebration. Like everyone's like in their shorts or bikinis, and they just get loads of powdered paint, and they just flipping cover the streets in powdered paint. I think it's brilliant. So anyway, that's that today, 25th.
Oh.
It's also International Day of Remembrance of the victims of slavery in the transatlantic slave trade. And yeah, I think that's a really important piece of history to remember as well. You know, very, very important, 25th of March. Actually, I was watching Pirates of the Caribbean the other night. So I just like it. And I love
them.
Yeah, Pirates of the Caribbean is sick. And, you know, the reason why Captain Jack is indebted to Davy Jones is because of the Black Pearl. And it was a time when in the movie, Jack actually says to, I forget the guy's name, but basically it's the East India Trading Company, who everybody knows was the company name of transatlantic slave. Jack got labeled a pirate because he refused to actually transport people as cargo. He said, people ain't cargo, mate. And then he was conflicted because Davy Jones wanted 100 souls. Jack said, I won't give you 100 of these souls. So he saved the slaves, but then was indebted to Davy Jones. And that's why his story is like the Black Pearl, with the Black Pearl, because it's like, I could have killed those people, but now I'm in debt to Davy Jones because I saved those people. And Davy Jones wants his payment. He wants 100 people, and Jack won't give him 100 people. And it's fucking brilliant. Anyways, I actually knew what. It's called Holly. Oh, sorry. It's called Holly. Holly Guyana. Holly Gaia. Thank you for whoever that is. You on the. So anyway, that's that. Obviously, it's a March full moon as well. Something to celebrate.
Yep.
It is the... You like a full moon, Liz?
Yeah.
Fair enough. Michael, do you like full moons?
I don't really care.
You don't feel any kind of way about a full moon?
No.
Okay, it is also National Amaze You Day, a day for self-love. Anybody interested in self-love? It is a day for self-love. Old New Year's Day. So back to what I said about the Gregorian calendar. Everyone's sort of agreeing with this Gregorian calendar. Dionysius said that the 25th of March is actually the New Year's Day. The old New Year's Day.
Happy New Year. This was mentioned before, I think, of our other episodes. I think this, when we were talking about time and month, 13 months and not 12 months and things like that.
It's also World Retrospective Day, which means you look back to plan forward. Hence, retro is back in time. And mainly adopted at workplaces. So a corporate environment, they kind of review their past, see how they could change it in the future, which is good. Now, famous birthdays. And before I continue, is there anybody you want to give a shout out to, Michael, is that you know is their birthday?
Not today.
Today?
Nope.
All right. Well, it is Aretha Franklin's birthday today. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Okay. It's also Elton John's birthday. You'll know Elton John. Yeah, Rocket Man.
Rocket Man.
It's Big Sean's birthday. You know who Big Sean is?
No.
Big Sean.
See me get guap right now. See me get guap right now.
Let me go get started.
Hilarious. I got to go think I would see you do that. Honestly. Oh, I'm gonna screenshot on that. Just that one bit.
Big Sean.
No, I don't know who he is. Sorry.
Come on, man.
I don't know. I don't know that.
He may not be as big as Aretha Franklin or Elton John, but he's still Big Sean.
Okay, I'll take.
See me get guap right now. See me get guap right now. It's a big tune. Oh, I forget it.
Maybe I'll play it. I might near it.
I'll put the link. I'll send
That's
it.
about this.
It's a big tune. Okay. Do you? I'm never singing that again now. I am never singing to you guys anyway. It is a big tune. Right. Do you know what I mean? Look, they get it. The TikTok, no. Thank you.
Someone play it so I can actually see if I know.
Okay. By the way, it's also Sarah Jessica Parker's birthday. Not that I'm care about that, but I know someone out there, someone cares about it. Probably like how I like Big Sean. Someone else like Sex and the City. Do you like Sex and the City?
Yeah, I like that.
Michael?
Of course not.
You're allowed to like it, Michael. You can say, yes, I do. And we will not judge you. This is a safe space, Michael.
All right. No.
Never. There's my
Working on goddamn you. I just got my check. I'm going to spend it all on me.
really work.
Yeah. Hold on. Tell me what you say.
Remember, you can only pay 15 seconds of it.
I sure. It's turning it. How is also either.
Make sure you talk over it while you play it.
Yeah, I've never ever heard it. Sorry. No.
Right.
No. But thanks for enlightening me with it. But I definitely have never heard it.
I cannot believe you haven't heard that, but I can.
Honestly, haven't, and I don't know who he is. So if he walked past, I wouldn't know.
I'll send you a link in the WhatsApp, and listen to it in your car. You'll start bouncing like I did. No doubt. It's just a feel-good track.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm looking at all these tracks. I don't know any of them.
Don't worry about it.
Jules
Okay.
is too he's down with everything. You know, we're not.
Yeah, I would say I'm just like, I guess I just knew who he was. If someone said to me, "Oh yeah, do you listen to?" I don't even know how to just. I can't say someone I don't know. But if someone said, "Oh,
Tom McDonald.
yeah," I'll be like, "No, I never heard about it." And then they start singing about it. I'll be like, "Yeah, no, cool." But I would then still be like, "Yeah, send me the link." I
Yeah,
don't know.
send me the link. I will listen to it because you want me to, and because I will do it for you.
You don't have to. You don't have to.
No, I will.
Okay. And it is also Sha'Carri Richardson's birthday. She's like fast athlete, American runner, fit as fuck. I think she's pain. She's for pain. If she can hear this right now, yes. And
I do.
just have, I just like her swag and her grace. I think she's a quality athlete. It's her birthday too. Right. Don't worry, I'm not gonna send you a link to that.
Okay.
Right. And that is what is special about today. Love it. Well, there's my
I love your what's special about today. It's so good. And always so random as well. Brilliant.
I'm baffled at some people in the world that do these certain things, like National Peanuts Day and Roasted Nuts Day and all sorts. I just think, yes, great. Okay, give it a day.
So who invents them? Like, who just makes it a day?
Well,
Probably some corporate enterprise.
Yeah.
the Swedish got together and thought, I heard the Brits got Pancake Day. We need to make a day. Waffle Day. International Waffle Day.
I thought Pancake Day came from America, but I guess not.
Where did it come from?
I
I
don't.
thought it been like, I thought pancakes came from when it was like rations and they knew they were going to get a new stock of rations. So they got rid of all the old rations and made pancakes.
Oh, I have no idea. I'll have to look it
So
up.
they say Shrove Tuesday was the last opportunity to use up eggs and fat before embarking on Lenten fast.
Oh, we're wrong. Yeah, so that's that.
To do with Lent.
To do with Len.
Interesting.
Yeah. I love that. Right, now you know. All right. Well, I'm going to say goodbye. And Liz, Michael, anything else you want to add to tonight's episode?
No, you two make me laugh.
Well, I love you, bro.
You also like
Yes.
most canoodling time.
Yes.
Yay! I want to go to the scary ghost haunted church. Is it a church?
Yes, church. Yeah.
Yes, Jules. I can't.
That is Michael. I'm telling you, it's scary as fuck.
No, I can't wait. I'm so excited.
Just for the audience tuning in, we said that when we reach 1,000 subscribers, we're going to be doing a special live episode at Canooden Church, which is a haunted church here in Essex, where witchcraft used to take place. Anne Boleyn, natural fact, one of Henry VIII's wives, used to practice witchcraft here in this area. I actually live near a pond where they used to hang witches. And I'm just saying, I've been to this church before, and it took a lot of stones to get out of the car. I'm just saying, and I wasn't even alone. I was with a lot of people, and it's scary. And Liz and Michael are buzzing to get there because they've never been there. But you know when you've been there, and you're like, we're talking like something weird. Yeah, but I'll do it. We said we're doing it, and I'm with them. So yeah, if we don't come back, at least you know.
We are doing it if we don't come back. Oh, for Christ's sake.
Aren't we doing it live though?
Can you see on Sky News, 3 people have disappeared at Canooden Church?
They were drowned. But anyway,
Okay.
any chance?
Drown from a tree.
Yeah, from a tree into the lake. Well,
Oh, dear.
right, well, thank you so much, everybody, everywhere, for tuning in. You know what to do. You know how to do it. We love your support. We love that you're here. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Keep expanding, keep growing. Critical Figure is 100% the way. And thank you so much for supporting us. And we will continue to do what we always do. Cheers. Be here for you. So, for me, Liz and Michael, everybody, everywhere, peace and love.
Peace and love.